Here's the 30-second lesson on what legends know. Never practice nunchucks in a crowded room. Never eat chole before a road trip. Always take your shirt off before you iron it. Don't take a call near a swimming pool. And don't forget, saving is not investing. Legends don't just save, they invest in mutual funds. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Punjab is not in headlines today. There is no crisis taking place there. Similarly, there is no trouble in Sikh politics. There is not even any intimation of impending trouble or impending storm about to break out in Sikh politics. This is a far cry, happily so, from what the situation looked like exactly a year ago, almost to date. 23rd April 2023 is when Amritpal Singh was arrested along with a bunch of his people and then taken away to a distant jail in Dibrugarh. From that, situation looks very calm now. So why are we talking about Punjab and Sikh politics at this point? One reason is that you are very indulgent. You give me a lot of space and a lot of leeway so I can explore subjects which are beyond the headlines for Cut The Clutter, beyond the headlines of today, beyond today's headlines, maybe tomorrow's headlines, but most likely day after tomorrow's headlines. So we can anticipate those stories also. And that's where we can pick up some early signals. So one signal that we pick up is, and I will explain to you what we are talking about and what is the organization that we are talking about. The organization is Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, SGPC. SGPC has an elected body. I will tell you the details as we go along. SGPC has an elected body where only Sikhs can vote, where only Sikhs who conform to a certain level of doctrinal purity, they can vote. They've been busy revising their electoral rolls. The last time they got their electoral rolls ready was 2011 to 2024. You would imagine that in this period, population goes up. Population does go up everywhere. On the contrary, instead of the numbers going up, the numbers have actually gone down. Between 2011 and 2024, instead of going up, the numbers of registered voters in SGPC for the coming SGPC elections has come down. Has come down by how much? In 2011, the number of voters was about 55 lakhs. Now 55 does not apply because after that the Supreme Court ordered that Haryana can have its own Gurdwara body. So say about 3 lakh, 2.5 to 3 lakh voters from Haryana can be reduced from this. So if you look at 52, 53 lakhs, the voters registered by now after two extensions have taken place. The process started on 21st of October. The last date was 15th of November. It was then extended to 29th of February. It has further been extended now to 30th of April, and chances are the SGPC will ask for a further extension. Why? Because the total number of voters to have registered is 27.45 lakhs. That's a half of what it was in 2011. Now, this is a matter of big concern. How come the number of voters registered for the election to a religious body, which is very powerful? Punjab is a very devout state. If you look at Pew's surveys, then Sikhs have among the highest rate of temple going among any community in India. So Sikhs are very close to their faith. And how come so few are then registering to be voters for a body that will run their holiest shrines? That is a mystery, or maybe that's a mystery if you are outside of Punjab, or if you don't lift the layers. Because if you lift the layers, you know where the problem lies. One of the problems is that in 2003, Shiromani Akali Dal, which was a partner with the BJP, they prevailed upon the Vajpayee government to issue a notification saying that one category of Sikhs will be excluded from voting in the SGPC election. What that also meant was that only one category will be voting in SGPC elections. So what they said was that Sahajdhari Sikhs, these are people who might believe in Sikhism fully, who might follow many of the tenets of Sikhism, but who do not follow the entire doctrine, which means they might snip their beard, they might cut their hair, So they said that only those Sikhs with unshorn hair or keshdhari Sikhs, I am simplifying it, these definitions get into complexities which may be a little bit out of the syllabus for us right now. So they said in 2003, they prevailed upon the Vajpayee government to issue a notification from the Home Ministry saying that those Sikhs who are Sahajdhari, Sahaj is easy, chilled, a chilled, easy approach to faith, which means I follow most principles of the faith. I believe in the book, holy book. I go to the Gurdwara. Anybody can go to a Gurdwara, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian, anybody can go to the Gurdwara. But I go to the Gurdwara as a devout Sikh, but I do not follow all of the tenets of Sikhism. If I don't follow all of the tenets of Sikhism, I cannot vote in SGPC elections. That is what this notification said. Now, the organization of Sahajdhari Sikhs. So the categories are Sahajdhari, Amritdhari. Amritdharis are people, Sikhs, who have been baptized, which means who have partaken the holy nectar. Once they do that, then they have to follow a lot of the very strict covenants of the faith. In fact, to contest elections for the SGPC, you have to be an Amritdhari Sikh. That means a baptized Sikh. Then you have another category who are Keshdhari Sikhs, who may not have been baptized, but who have unshorn hair. This applies to men as well as women. And for women, when you talk of unshorn hair, it's not just not cutting your hair, it's also about not plucking your eyebrows, about lip hair, etc. To tell you a small story, which I might have mentioned in the past, when we used to visit Bhindranwale in the Golden Temple in 1983, 1984, he would refer to Tableen Singh like that. He would say, "O Sikhni," somebody would say, Tableen Singh said this, and he would say, "O Sikhni, jehdi pawa paddi hai." That Sikh woman who plucks her eyebrows. So even that is frowned upon. Now, to be a voter with SGPC, you have to, one, give an affidavit saying that you are a Keshdhari Sikh, whether you are a man or a woman. You have to also send a picture of yourself to prove that. Otherwise, you cannot be a voter. Yet, even with these restrictions, in 2011, there were almost 55 lakh voters. If you take out Haryana, say 52, 53 lakh voters, today it's a half of that. So what happened to the rest? Because the Sikhs have a low birth rate, 1.6 TFR per year, that is among the lowest for any community in India. Muslims are 2.36. All this data is as per the last National Family Health Survey, NFHS 5, which Pew has also quoted from in its analysis. The Hindus have 1.9, Muslims have 2.36, Sikhs have 1.6. Sikhs have 1.6, which is the same as the Jains. Christians have 1.88. So Sikhs are on the lower side. Yet population should have gone up in 10 years. Instead, it has declined by almost 50%. Why has that happened? So Chitleen Sethi, our correspondent in Chandigarh, she's written a story about this, a couple of stories about this, of which I will share links with you. Now, the analysts that she's spoken to, they give 4 or 5 reasons. Number one, they say that SGPC itself is diminishing in its significance. And I will tell you what SGPC is and how important it is. Number two, there are conversions. There are large-scale conversions, particularly from the lower caste, from Sikhs to Christianity, not Islam in this case. Number three, there is growing dera culture. So you have Gurmeet, Ram Rahim and many such deras, and lots of people, particularly from the lower castes, are attracted towards these deras, and they don't follow the covenants of conservative Sikhism, so do not qualify to be voters. Although, mind you, in SGPC election, there is a reservation of seats for scheduled castes as well. Then, of course, that the population growth has now declined. In fact, it has come below replacement levels now. Then there is large-scale migration overseas. People are going to Canada, UK, US, Europe, anywhere they can go to. And the combined effect of all of this is, and that's why the number of Sikhs who conform to the strict demands to qualify to vote for SGPC is going down. But even that cannot result in a 50% fall. This is the one layer. We lifted one layer, that is the number of Sikhs is not going up, population growth has declined, population growth has slowed down, plateaued and probably has become negative now. There is large-scale migration, there is some conversion to Christianity, there is the Dera culture, so people are going to deras where such strict adherence to Sikh principles or Sikh lifestyle is not necessary. That is the first layer. Now we come to the second layer. The second layer is something that happened in 2003. In 2003, Mr. Badal, who was a very powerful figure, Akali Dal and the BJP were then in partnership. He prevailed upon the Vajpayee government to issue a notification from the Home Ministry. Now the Gurdwara Election Commission, which conducts elections for SGPC, that is a body of this Union Home Ministry. It's a body of the Union Home Ministry because it was set up in 1925 in British times. In 1920s, there was a strong Akali movement, Akali agitation to take back control of the Sikh holy places from the Mahants as they were called. So the British passed the Gurdwara Act of 1925. Under that act, they set up the Gurdwara Election Commission based at central government level in Delhi. And so it continues under the Union Home Ministry, and that is to hold the next election as well. The change that Mr. Badal, the Akali Dal under Mr. Badal, they persuaded the Vajpayee government to make was to issue a notification in 2003 saying that only Keshdhari Sikhs can now vote in SGPC elections. Why was the Akali Dal doing it? They wanted to make the electoral college as small as possible. A small constituency of conservative Sikhs, which they thought they'll be able to more easily control than having people who could get up anywhere and say, I am a Sikh, I may not be following all the rules, but I am a Sikh. A lot of mythologies were spread that at this rate, all the people who are coming in from UP and Bihar, the so-called bhaiyas in Punjab, they could get up and they could go to Gurdwara and say, I am a Sikh also and I will come and vote. So that's why, to protect the faith and to purity of the faith, we need to exclude those who do not follow all the visible tenets of Sikhism. That was the pretense, but the real reason was that probably the Akali Dal thought, because they draw their power from Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, which controls the major Sikh shrines, from where the Akalis power their politics. So Vajpayee government issued that notification. The other group of Sikhs who had now got excluded. Now what this change did was that in 2011, when the next election took place to SGPC, the number of voters went down, because in 2011 census, the number of Sikhs in Punjab was 1 crore 75 lakhs, of which an estimated 70 lakhs were Sahajdharis, and they fell out. They could no longer be SGPC voters. So SGPC Electoral College now became much smaller. That's how it came to 55 lakhs at that point. In fact, even the election before that, 2004, this is after the exclusion of the Sahajdharis, which were more than Keshdharis plus Amritdharis, the number was 55 lakhs. So in 2011, the number was, if anything, maybe thereabouts the same as 55 lakhs or maybe a little bit less. So this outward movement of Sikhs from Sikh politics, from Sikh religious politics had already started. Now it has got even more accentuated. What does it mean? It might mean, which is not a good thing, it might mean that a larger body of Sikhs is now losing faith in the institutions which have governed their affairs, their religious affairs, and also their political affairs. Because the Akali Dal, Shiromani Akali Dal, has been the representative, or has seen itself as the representative of the devout Sikhs in Punjab, and that's the vote they've got. But over time now, we've seen the Akali Dal's vote share decline. Vote share has declined to dangerous levels, almost to 15% levels. In such a situation, if a large number of Sikhs lose faith also in the religious body that governs their gurdwaras, while at the same time they are also beginning to vote against the religion-based party to which many of them were loyal, particularly their older generation was loyal, that would mean that some kind of a strong political churn is building up in Punjab, and that's why this needs watching as we go ahead. From Chitleen's stories, I have a couple of quotes from experts that she's spoken to. So there is Jagrup Singh Sikh, who's a former professor of political science at Guru Nanak Dev University of Amritsar, who says there was a time when Shiromani Akali Dal was the strong spine of SGPC, which ruled the politics of Punjab. And that's when Gurcharan Singh Tora headed the SGPC. And SGPC actually was more powerful than the Akali Dal at that point. He says the sense of belonging to the religion is now reduced. There also, because there is huge outward migration, conversion into Christianity by a large section of lower sections of Sikhs, lower castes of Sikhs, and Deravad. Deravad is adherence to new Deras like Gurmeet Ram Rahim. These are the reasons for the decline. Again, Satwinder Singh Dhillon, who's retired principal of Khalsa College at Gardiwala and author of a book, SGPC Elections Sikhs and Sikh Politics. And he says, and I quote, people are losing interest in these institutions. For Sikhs, religion came as a top priority, politics next. This is now reversed, to which I am adding a line that it has reversed now, but at the same time, Sikh politics has weakened. Because one, Aam Aadmi Party has moved into that space, and second, the breakdown of the Akali Dal BJP alliance has also weakened the Akali Dal as well. There is also Professor Dharam Singh, who taught Sikh studies at Punjab University, Patiala, and he says, and I quote, the fact that the number of voters has gone down reflects the frustration with Shiromani Akali Dal more than the SGPC, because Shiromani Akali Dal uses SGPC for its political ends. He also goes on to say that because the Akali Dal has changed in its character, it should stop calling itself the Panthik party. Now, something very interesting happened in the history of the Akali Dal in 1997. 1997, after the alliance with the BJP had settled down, Mr. Badal at a huge rally at Moga, senior Mr. Badal, Prakash Singh Badal, he said that we are no longer just a Sikh party. We are now a Punjabi party. And the party then opened its doors to non-Sikhs. And since then, lots of non-Sikhs have also served on its executive. In fact, the fact is that since 1967, that's almost in 57 years, only 27 Hindus have got elected to the Punjab Assembly on Akali Dal ticket. Of those 27, more than 20 have been elected since this change in 1997. So that's a big change. For conservative Sikhs, however, it looks like it amounts to the Akali Dal ceasing to remain just a pure Panthik party. So in fact, Professor Dharam Singh says, at this rate, Akali Dal should stop contesting the SGPC elections on its own symbol as a Panthik party. Its candidates should now contest as independents. This is therefore a very important story of the conservative stream in a faith dividing itself and generally seceding from the mainstream of its own faith. I say that carefully because if you look at the most prominent Sikhs across the country now, even Sikhs who became martyrs to the farmers' movement or who were hailed as martyrs and heroes at that point of time or in that period. For example, the latest of them all, Shekhar Singh, the farmer who was killed in police firing during the last farmers' protest that was just a few months back, coming in from Punjab into Haryana, Shekhar Singh. Then Deep Sidhu, the popular culture star or semi-star who became a hero also to the cause after he died in a road accident. Deep Sidhu, probably the most visible face of the farmers' protest, of the big farmers' protest earlier. Sidhu Moosewala, the singer who got assassinated. And then you see other Sikh stars across the country. Harbhajan Singh, the cricketer, Bhaji, Diljit Dosanjh, the great popular culture star and film star. All of them are great stars for Sikh causes. All of them are hailed by Sikh heroes, by all of the Sikhs, people of Punjab, and in fact, many of them are national icons as Sikhs. At the same time, none of them can vote as a Sikh in the SGPC election and definitely not contest those elections. These are the various contradictions through which the Sikh faith and Sikh politics is passing right now. Not in the headlines right now, but sometimes it's useful to anticipate news, to anticipate where pressure points are building up in our society in politics and what it might lead to in future. That's the reason I thought I will dedicate this episode of Cut the Clutter to this particularly complex issue.